all night how to start this conversation with all of you. And it hit me right away that this is what I'm doing in my life right now. Whenever I'm hitting the stage, I'm touching the feet of my stage, I'm sitting there and I'm singing. Singing along with such a legendary person who is, to me, a god, my guru, my father. So I was really confused, and to be honest, I was really nervous because I'm not much of a speaker, but I'm more of a singer. And that category was my third choice when I started my life. So let me take you a little back in my life. And so currently, this year, I'm hitting 40 years of age. To divide it in two, it becomes 2020, which is the most common thing these days. You know, we are all enjoying the 2020s. As a youth, as a youngster, as a child, I was the youngest in my family and the naughtiest one, of course, because all my brothers, they are like way elder to me and they're way experienced. So I never had to go through those rigorous trainings which my father, their fathers, their gurus, they did for the classical music. And since when I started growing up, my parents, my gurus and my father, Pandit Rajan Sajan Mishra ji, they started performing a lot all over the world. And for the very same reason, I kind of never got that promising attention towards my practices. So by default, as you heard all of your youth who spoke to you, I started my inclination towards writing and composing. So what happens when we start writing, the composition automatically starts happening, and I cannot say no to my blood because the ragas and all those tunes are in my blood. So I could never deny that point. Well, the later 20, if I say not exactly 20, just 3 years back, we lost the legendary Padma Bhushan Pandit Rajan Mishra ji, my guru, a very dear friend. And then I started sitting with my father and singing classical music, which was like the last what I was doing. Now when I go back and I see that I've never practiced, I never gave my blood or sweat to my classical music. What is that one thing which I have which can definitely do wonders when I'm singing with my father? That was the experiences. The collage of experiences which I always kept in my mind. Being a writer, I used to meet people, know them, and know their experiences, keep it with me, write poetries on them, write things on them, think about it. And all those experiences are my guiding light when I'm performing with my father. Another thing which I really would like to share with you all is like, whenever we sit for practice, we definitely take one subject and we start focusing on that. Well, it is beyond that. So I came up with this idea of practicing the art of practice. The first thing what you do is basically you sit down to do any of your subject, to practice anything, whatever you are doing. That sitting is the core. Once you start sitting consciously, and when you are sitting down, you just have to know, okay, I'm not going to start with anything, like any studies or anything, whatever I'm doing here. I'm just going to sit, breathe. So by practicing the practice, it helps you create a tremendous amount of concentration. Now, if you see concentration from one point, it's like a very small dot, or you can see it's a small place where you just have to focus. Once you start driving yourself inside that concentration, it becomes big. Now, when you're sitting, you are concentrating. You are learning how to concentrate. And this particular concentration can be used anywhere in any subject, maybe art, science, math, political science, whatever you guys want to do. This has really helped me out. So now when I go on stage, it's not the practices which I went through in my life. It was the concentration. That was my core to sing with my father. Another problem which I face when he sings with me, technically I sing with him, what happens, his experiences, his practice, his spirituality is such sublime when he attempts to reach that stage, when he attempts to reach that octave. I find myself silenced on stage. I find myself unable to sing after him. And then I came to know that music is all about pauses. It's all about silence. So now what I do is like I try to play a part of silence when we are singing together. Another recipe to move forward in your life, it's to breathe, it's to have that pause, it's to have that silence. Adding that pause and silence to your life, that breathe, it helps you think better, it helps you create better, it helps you see whether it is going in a right direction or a wrong direction. Well, my writings, my poetries, which I usually use on stage, is just to fill up those cracks which I don't have in my classical music. That is my core, and I have to keep it with me. And now when I'm here talking on Tedx, I find myself to be the perfect person. I was just discussing it backstage that currently I'm running through this midlife crisis where I'm really confused whether this is the real thing which I wanted to do in my life, because I started off as a lyricist, as a composer. I was focusing to go to Bollywood and make my mark over there. And now that I'm doing hardcore classical music, where when I'm getting off the stage, people as old as 80 years, they are touching my feet and they are hoping for me to take that legacy forward. Oh, I'm in a dilemma all the time. And somewhere down the lane, I have started finding that positivity in this situation. So I was really concerned of coming here and speaking to all of you, because I am also running through a very confused time. But it has never stopped me. I am writing, I'm composing, I'm still trying to do the best thing possible out of my life, and trying to make my mark. And the first mark which we usually make is in the eyes of our father and our gurus. Next thing which I want to share with you is that whenever a guru and a teacher, they teach you or preach you or they tell you anything, it's basically self-reminder. That's how they become legendary. Whenever I've seen that my father is teaching me a lot of things, whenever we sit down for a music session, he's repeating things more than me. He's getting finer day by day, more than me, because I am repeating. Like if he sings like 2 lines, I'm just able to repeat in 1 line. So a teacher, a speaker, it is all about a reminder to ourselves. This is one thing. And life and its ups and downs, they are always going to be there. What you need to do is to have fun. And I think I don't have anything else to speak to you guys, because you are already on a very right path and going to a very clear direction. You have focus. Just one thing, our Indian classical music creates a lot of concentration. Even though if you don't become Indian classical musician, become a listener to it. It is going to give a lot of patience, a lot of silence, a lot of concentration to you. In a way, this will save our culture, for which we are definitely trying our hard and making the best foot forward. Like, I left the commercial singing for my classical singing. Even though if you don't become a classical musician, keep listening to it, be fond of it, because it is related to our culture. And if a singer doesn't have its audience, there will be no singers, right? To conclude my speech, I would like to say my poetry, which is Agori Chalisa, which was mentioned there, and it was the most required thing. So here it goes. It's a very percussive thing, and I hope you all enjoy this. It goes like, हाथ कपाल गले मुंड की माल अरु भस्म रमाए त्रिपुंड लगाए नाचत डमरू के ताल बवंडर छलकत मधिरा काठ कमंडल घोर अघोरी नर कपाल धरी त्रिशूल कोरी भांग भंग चढ़ी लाल लाट तोरे नैन त्रिलोचन नंगन देह करे ताप विमोचन थिरक थिरकत मलंग भय शिव शरीर शिव शिव शिवंग भय ओम नमो महाकाल पुकारा गरज गरज बदरा मृदंग के तरंग में प्रसंग में हो अविभूत तुम प्रसन्न भय डिम डिम डिकाक डमरू की वाक बाजत बिबाक रखियो है थाप घुंघरू झनाट झनाट झन झन तांडव की नाच 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 भ्रुम बम बम काशी विश्वनाथ ब्रह्म बम बम जय हो महाकाल के भक्त हो कि तुम मुक्त सिद्धि से युक्त भक्ति की तरंग में मलंग हो प्रचंड हे शिवांग दुविधा कृपाल तुम दूर करो कविता कृपाल तुम पूर्ण करो तुम निदान उचान महान प्रबल मैं कृतार्थ पार्थ हूँ बहुत विचल पर तुम अविचल हो श्रृंगी विराजे भस्म मले तुम भभूत साजे कृधान करे जब भुजा को खोले कृतान बिजुरिया आकाश बोले झरी झरत झरी झरत झरी 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 कहत तुम रे ही बखान करे ब्रह्मांड भी बोले कहत कवि जन जन के भंजन की जय हो जय जय हो जय हो शमशान के राजा भय मृत्यु जन्म का त्यागे तुम ऐसे ध्यान को साधा भूत पिशाच भी थर थर कांपे तब कब हूं वो समक्ष न आवे जब तुम मन से श्राप दिए हो शिव काली का जाप किए हो लाल लहू से खेरत होरी चीलम गांजा धूम मचोरी वर्ष वर्ष जब जाप किए हो तब कहलाए तुम नाम अघोरी तब कहलाए तुम नाम अघोरी तब कहलाए तुम नाम अघोरी। थैंक यू सो मच।